Hope you're still here. Gotta get minor things set up. Yeah, oh no. Okay, there it goes. Yeah, oh no. Oh no. Okay, there it goes. Okay. I don't know how I would feel about being chased by one either. Hi, Rosalind. Come on. How is everybody? Hold on, guys. Well, I don't know. I cannot watch those because they are too intense for my taste. Awesome. So my question, I can't get into the actual questions themselves because if I go to do that, it's going to kick me out of live, I think. So, where is your favorite polar bear exhibit? In what zoo? I wonder. I don't understand why all of a sudden it wants to kick me out of live. And why I can't do questions on my Chromebook. Yeah, there's polar bears in zoos. In fact, there are. That's going to be one of our discussions for today. is polar bears. There are 21 zoos in total that house polar bears. At least when this website was put up. I don't know if that still holds true, because Detroit is not on this list. So I'm thinking it's a little bit off. Jesus loves you too, Vicky. Florida. None that I can tell. Memphis, Louisville. Oh, wait, Detroit is there. I'm sorry. St. Louis. Kansas City. Memphis, I think, is closest, right? Vicky Rogers, I welcome you letting me know that Jesus loves me. That's a good reminder. However, my channel is a nature and sciencey channel. Not necessarily the place for that reminder, but thank you all the same. Not every zoo that we're going to look at has polar bears. However, that being said, we are looking at 2 exhibits today. They are the Arctic Ring of Life and Berger's Desert. So sort of 2 extremes that I promise will fit in the end. Great. So now not only can I not post questions because of my phone, but apparently I also cannot access my tools, which is not cool. Okay, so anyway, we're going to get started. I don't know where Carrie is at, but we need to get started. So the Arctic Ring of Life, when it first opened up, did have other animals in it besides polar bears and sea otters. So at one time they actually had Arctic foxes, and they also were home to, I think, harbor seals, but I'm not sure on that. I know it was some kind of seal. Initial plans also had tundra swans in the exhibit. So very cool. But a little bit more about the exhibits. There is a 29 one of the viewing areas into the exhibit is actually set up for the supports of a lodge which uses whalebone I'm assuming it's fake whalebone. There is a 29,000 foot summer tundra yard. The bears, now the polar bears, I thought it said a 30,000 gallon freshwater pool, but I questioned that, and I'm glad I did. It's supposed to be a 300,000 gallon pool, according to the AI, which I don't trust the AI. This new exhibit cost $14.9 million. It is the largest, at the time, the largest aquarium, the largest exhibit of its kind. I don't know. I don't like using that information. Because sometimes that information is wrong. And I want to make sure I'm giving you guys the right information. So they have a grassy tundra, a freshwater pool, a pack ice area, and a 190,000 gallon saltwater pool. And this exhibit is a 4-acre indoor and outdoor zoo exhibit, and it includes indoor and outdoor exhibit areas. So there is also a 100,000 gallon saltwater pool that was once home to seals, is now home to southern sea otters, which sounds kind of funny because we tend to think of sea otters as being like kelp forest and whatnot, but there are sea otters that live up in Alaska. There is so once you leave sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. From this viewing area for the sea otters, you enter a gallery, which is part art gallery, part underwater viewing area. This underwater viewing area lets you watch the sea otters and also lets you see the polar bears. It lets, on one side you get polar bears, and on the other side you get sea otters. Once you leave that tunnel, which is 70 feet, you enter the exploration station, where you can get images of the bears from different positions, as well as a bunch of other educational material. You get another view of the sea otter pool, as well as a split polar bear slash, well, no, it's the polar bear pool, but it is a split view above the water and below the water. Once you get back out into the outside, you enter the packed ice yard area that you can see. Again, in the early planning phases, this exhibit would have also been home to, among other animals, tundra swans, which my understanding is they no longer have. I'm assuming harbor seals, but I don't know for sure because they no longer have the seals. Let me see if they say. No, there are no zoos. Yeah, they don't say. It's polar bear and southern sea otter. Polar bears. All right, Ross Lynch, are you acting? Hi. Hi everybody. Are you asking polar bears or are you asking sea otters? Leopard seals. Oh, excuse me. Leopard seals, at least according to IUCN Red List, are of least concern. So they're good. They no longer have Arctic foxes. They did. At one time, according so it at least had a gray seal pup, but I also read where they may have a gray seal and harbor seals. So at least harp seal, harbor seals, and a gray seal. So now we're going to move to an exhibit. We've already visited this zoo, I think, once. I feel like I don't know if Steller sea lions make it into the Arctic itself. There are Steller sea lions. Within Alaskan waters, but they don't make it far enough up to be considered Arctic. We are doing some extremes and exhibits today. For those of you that might be new to my channel, I try to stick with some of the same type of exhibits. So if I do a rainforest exhibit in the US, in the US, in the US, I try to do a rainforest exhibit outside of the US. Today, though, we are not doing that. We are jumping. Wizard of Christ, I appreciate your I appreciate the fact that you're willing to share that with us, but this is a science and nature channel. Not to my knowledge, D-Man. I don't know of any zoos that have them. So, Burgers Desert is in the Royal Burger Zoo, and I believe this is the second time that we've talked about this particular zoo. This exhibit opened, it is not a new exhibit, it opened in 1994, and at the time, it was the largest desert exhibit in the world. That's right, it is bigger than the Desert Dome at the Henry Dorley Zoo. I want to say Denmark, but I'm not always right. It could also be Belgium. It is not Germany, I know that much. It is in the Netherlands. I have seen sharks. I have not touched a shark. I've dissected a shark. So this zoo is based off of two deserts, both of them in North America. We've actually talked about both of those. And they are the Sonoran Desert and the Mojave Desert. Now, a few years have passed since this place first opened. And so some of the animals have been switched up. We'll touch on that every once in a while when we can. But for now, we're going to get into it. You enter through a mine shaft, which is sort of cool. And the first display that you come across is actually a display of Seba's short-tailed bats. And you are basically in a mine shaft that leads not into a desert, but into a cave. This cave comes complete with stalagmites, stalactites, fossils in the wall of the cave. There is a pool that is home to Mexican blind cavefish. Before you actually enter the desert, you are going to meet 6 different animals contained within 6 different terrariums. You are going to meet the Colorado river toad, milk snake, Mexican red knee tarantula, cave crickets, Miriam's kangaroo rat, and the hispid cotton rats. Ooh. It looks really cool. If you want to see this exhibit, there are several YouTubers who do walkthroughs. After I'm done with this, I will post a link to one of those videos. Know that the video is not mine. From that last small terrarium, you will then move into the desert proper, where you will come face to face with not one, but two venomous species, the Gila monster and the diamondback rattlesnake. This is a man-made cave. It's not a real cave. And I'm sorry for missing your question. In the summer, this exhibit can reach 104 degrees Fahrenheit. No, not Western diamondback rattlesnake. Red diamondback rattlesnakes. This exhibit covers 6,310 square meters or 1.6 acres. Yeah, I agree, but I'm telling you, from the videos, it looks really cool. There are, and this is really weird because you don't think about these birds as being something that should be free flying, but in this exhibit, they have free flying turkey vultures. I kid you not. And there are tons of live plants. The first animals that you meet within the desert proper are collared peccaries. They sort of look like a pig, but they're not a true pig. Next up, there are two enclosures for roadrunners and burrowing owls. I looked up, and they actually have 21 roadrunners, and they breed the roadrunners. Next up, they have ring-tailed cats. These are not cats. They call them cats, but they're not cats. They are actually a relative of the raccoon. Next to them, there is a display of cactus mice. The next exhibit is a canyon bird aviary, which is also home to an endangered species of dove that is extinct in the wild. One thing really cool about this exhibit is that there are no straight pathways. The pathways sort of loop around, so you never know exactly what you're going to see in the next exhibit or the next part of that exhibit. The plan for this zoo is to restore those doves to their island home. Now, at one time, the zoo was home to desert bighorn sheep within this exhibit. They unfortunately no longer have them because there are not other zoos that house those animals. So what do you do with the offspring? That was sort of their predicament. That exhibit is now home to peccaries, black-tailed prairie dogs, and North American porcupines. There is yet another tunnel with another ring-tailed cat exhibit, and ending with what used to be a bobcat exhibit is now home to another North American porcupine. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the history of the zoo. I don't usually do that, but it's interesting to do that every once in a while. Johann Berger started his collection in 1913 with pheasants in his own backyard. He decided to purchase a plot of land and open it up for display. That is not the zoo location that we know today. Eventually, he would move to a new location in July of that year, and it reopened with a new name, and it now was home to bears and camels. Johann would die in 1943, and his zoo was handed over to his daughter and his son-in-law. Eventually, World War II would start, and their country would get invaded. Unfortunately, between the 17th of September through the 25th of September, the zoo would become a casualty of war, and several animals and staff members would have their lives lost due to bombing. Still, there were staff members who kept the zoo alive. They even pleaded with the invading force not to take the animals and not to hurt any people. So they left the zoo in good hands, in the hands of two keepers, mind you. From there, the zoo would eventually reach an era of new growth and rebuilding. In 1988, they opened the rainforest, which we covered in a different live. They would eventually open a safari. The oceans would open later on. Oh, I'm sorry. Between the oceans, they would also open up Burgers Desert in 1994. They would open Burgers Ocean, which contains an 8 million liter exhibit of coral reef. And then they would open Rimba, which is an Asian exhibit, in 2008. And followed by Mangrove in 2007. I think because the zoo is called Burgers, Royal Burgers Zoo, and so they just added the name of the zoo to the exhibit. Other than that, I really don't know. So that is that exhibit. It's an incredible exhibit if you are ever there. It is well worth the time to go see it. I don't know prices for the zoo. I have found that if you want to oh darn it. Hold on. I have found that if you want to look at an exhibit, sometimes it's best to do it through a couple of different people. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you two different ones. Because I think that lets you see the exhibit from two different perspectives. This one I don't know if it's a walkthrough of the zoo itself. Oh, no, it does sort of do a walkthrough. It does sort of let you see other parts of the zoo. It is not in English. It is not in English. But that being said, it does let you see the exhibit as it originally opened. To an extent. I also have not watched this one. So I don't know. Please don't watch this on, please, like, don't leave my live to go watch this. That is the non-English one. There are some others that are in English. Ugh. But if you're like me and you do love exhibits, this is the channel, maybe? We sort of have, I think, discussed that. If I remember right. I am definitely open to it. If it is done right. Because my fear is that it will not be done right. I would love, there are definitely animals that I would love to see alive and in person. No doubt about that. Again, guys, these are not my exhibits or not my videos. But the one I just entered is from Zach over at Zoo Tours. He does amazing work. I think the video was done by somebody overseas, but it is still worth watching. Which video? Please tell me not Whale Tales, because that would just make me sad. Was it somebody else's stream? Was it something to do with Florida? Oh. Interesting. The Hydra live stream was kind of, but that was sort of my introduction. Like, I had heard about Hydra, but it wasn't until college that I actually got to see a Hydra. Anyway, guys, my end of live is done. You guys are more than welcome to chat, to talk. That is interesting, though. Thank you guys for the likes. Remember, those help me out. New story is up on the Spooky channel. My favorite candy. I'm not supposed to have a favorite candy. But I'm partial to sweet tarts. It's not the favorite, because I don't like giving out my favorites on live or on the internets. Chocolate kind of can upset my system. So for me, white chocolate. And as far as the worst candy, oh, see, D-Man, circus peanuts. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about them. Used to love them. Ross Lynch, have you seen candy corn? My dad likes to put That's candy corn. I don't know if I can get pictures of. No. The dark candy corn, I don't have pictures of it available, but is typically I don't even have pictures of it elsewhere. Instead of being yellow, orange, white, it's brown, orange, white. My dad likes to put peanuts in with it. No, it's soft. Peanut butter M&Ms are good. What do they call them? So there is a candy called Boston Baked Beans, and it's basically a candy coated peanut. I like those too. Brownie M&Ms. I've never heard of those. One year we did I did, I guess I should say. I ordered Kit Kats from Japan. They had some interesting ones. Ooh. Interesting. Anybody here pass out candy on Halloween? Who's evil? We usually do. But there's not. We don't get a lot of kids. I don't remember ever getting peanuts. Yeah, I mean, we get some kids. Sorry, I'm being bad and I'm coloring as we talk. You know, the I was listening to something. I was listening to something online that said that a lot of that is supposedly a lot of that is bullarchy. There were some people who maybe did. Yeah, we had candy apples. My parents would always make us dump out our stuff and they would look through it. I might be able to make my candy last like a week. They they honestly said that yeah, it might have happened on occasion, but the media really really pushed that. The idea that people were putting stuff into the candy. I'd like to know the frequency. Like I'd like to know how often. that happened. Yeah, it was largely a myth and hype, an urban legend that persisted for decades. Several child unalives were reported. And there were rare confirmed incidences of tampering, but they were targeted, not indiscriminate incidences. That actually, actually, Ross Lynch, that too may actually be a urban legend. Yeah, I agree. It doesn't hurt anything to check it. Although nowadays, if it isn't individually wrapped, like that's what I would get rid of. I would get rid of anything that is not individually wrapped. For the longest time, we had a burned out house on the block. And I was almost positive the place was haunted as a kid. To the point where it gave me nightmares, honestly. Oh, interesting. Oh no, we were outside for the most part. We would we had to do homework. Homework was first, and then we could go outside. So mom would do homework with us. Saturday was the big day for us. Unless we went to grandma's. We never well, we had to do we had to be involved in Boy Scouts. Me and my younger brother. Like it wasn't a choice. This is what you do. And it was this is what you do once we got older. We It was Cub Scouts and then Boy Scouts. Lots of hiking, camping. Nope. Never did any of that. We we might have had like church activities that we went to on occasion. You know, I occasionally got the "Are you ever gonna get married?" talk. But that never panned out. And I've had to just accept the fact that that's just the way it is. Yeah, never did sports. Somehow I got talked into doing square dancing. Not quite sure how that panned out. And no, I do not square dance anymore. You know, I completely agree, Ross Lynch. I completely 100% agree with you. I would rather have somebody that I can go out and do stuff with. Not a wife. Not me. Oh no, I did nothing on Saturday. I'm actually way behind. So, but I don't like ending live if we're having conversation. No, 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 excuse me. I don't like ending live if we're having a conversation because honestly, it helps me out. I was I have two sisters, or I'm sorry. I have one sister and two brothers, and they are nothing. We are nothing alike. My brother can fix cars. He can sometimes, and I've seen him do it, diagnose a car just by listening to it. Um, Hi, Blackburn. I don't. Yeah, um, I I am definitely the weird one in the bunch, I guess you could say. With the exception of my sister, everybody in the family is taller than me, and even she's taller than me. I think I creep people out, to be honest. So I kind of stick to myself. I think sometimes people get weirded out. And I'm sort of that way. My brother was so shy that, oh, sorry. My brother was so shy that he would not go into a store by himself. I would love, like, if I lived close enough to downtown that I could bike it, or had friends that could get me into downtown, there's a few places I'd like to live. As long as I had Wi-Fi. No, I never walked miles to school. I literally live 6 blocks away from the elementary that I went to. And even the high school and junior high that I went to, it's like a mile and a half from my house. So it's close enough. I could walk it, and I have. See, we even had a bus, and we lived, like I said, 6 blocks away from the school. Oh no, the only time I didn't is in high school. We had to be in early morning religious classes. So my mom would drive us to school. And then once my buddy got his license, then he would drive us home, which was nice because I hated riding the bus. Yeah, when you're small like me, you tend to be a target. I had a niece. I had a niece who wanted to ride the bus so bad when she was little. She would get so excited to see a school bus. So on one of the last days of school, I got permission from the bus driver and her mom to let her ride the bus with me. You know, you hear about people getting peer pressure to do things. I never had a problem with peer pressure to smoke or to drink or do drugs. My friends knew that and knew not to even bring it up, which was incredibly nice. I was never popular enough to get invited to the parties, which again was really nice. I was sort of lucky. My problem was I had a I do have a learning disability in math, and so I had to have extra help, and that really embarrassed me. But I was the quiet kid. I had a science teacher who was really, really into physics. And of course, physics, you use a lot of math in it. And so I did not do good in his class because of that. So the teacher that I would later have as a um as a kid or as a high school student comes into his class and he goes, Mr. Bothman doesn't know the definition of work. I think is what it was. And she goes, well, maybe he doesn't know how to work. And then I get to her class and it's a completely different story. But I did not like him. I did not like his class. And then I learned later on that he was actually a really nice guy. And we even shared some hobbies. Actually. But of course, I didn't find that out until much later. Wait a minute. Did something happen? No. Well, guys, what do you think? I don't know. I was going to say, because chat had sort of died down, I didn't know if it was time to say goodbye or not, but it's picked back up. Hello. We had to. I I had a teacher in school. He did not like my sister. And he ended up not liking me. I spoke one time in his class and he moved me. I should have just kept my mouth shut. His class was probably the only class where I got in trouble for talking. No, you're fine, D-Man. Sonia, you really need to join in our conversation because what you're saying makes absolutely no sense. The first thing she said when she came into the live was cheeseburger. Like, well, she said something else too, but I think she's pretty much been rude every time she comes in. I don't understand the need for that. I don't know. I've never been to Mass. You're good, dude. As long as it doesn't get into like attacking somebody's religion. No, I don't like slasher movies in general. Really? I had no idea he was based on Norman Bates. Um, on this channel, I don't know what the record is. 3 hours, maybe? Two and a half? $12-hour live. I'm not totally against it, D-Man. I I couldn't expect um I couldn't expect Carrie to sit through 12 hours. I don't even know if I could sit the entire 12 hours. Oh, you know what? Actually, if you guys don't mind, I do need to ask y'all a question. And then I probably need to sign off, but tonight we can do one or two things. We can either do a repeat of tonight or a repeat of the live that we just sat through, or we can do something else. Oh, I hate when that happens. We could do trivia, maybe. Before we leave, I do need to ask a question. Just give me a second. Which one is that? Is that the one with the mask? Is that the Halloween mask? I have not sat through the whole thing. Okay, so I need, yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I finished up a bunch of a series of subscriber suggested videos. I have another set, but I need to replace it's for videos. I need a few more. Any thoughts on something you guys might want to see? So far, the set that I have is Hamsters as a Group, Cypress Swamps, Dracula Parrot, Bigfoot as a Cryptid, Sandbox Tree, Golf Sturgeon. Okay, now you guys can't, one thing you can't do to me is throw a bunch out at me, because I like to get who's giving them. And then it looks like I have 2 weeks of non. And then I have, and I'm pretty sure this is all from the same guy. I did ask, but if there's too many thrown out at once, then I have a hard time keeping track of who's whose. I have Brazilian Pepper Tree that I'm pretty sure came from D-Man. And then we're looking at Hydrelia as a species instead of as a invasive. Water hyacinth as an invasive. The southern pine beetle. Did I... Hold on. I don't have... I need to see... What? Oh yeah, I did it as an invasive. I did it as an invasive species, not as a species. Shovel nose. Ross Lynch. Any thoughts? A cryptid or something? I gotta look at something real quick. I've already done sturgeon, I think, as a group. No, I didn't, apparently. Something other than skinwalkers. Skinwalkers. I would prefer something else. Well, we tried looking stuff up on Tubi, and it wasn't available, but I don't know, maybe. Ross Lynch, is there something else besides that? besides the skinwalkers? Strigoi. Lizard. Lizardmen cryptids, is that close enough? Because I don't know enough. Okay. Now that's not going to be probably for a month. So probably not sometime till October-ish. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, you're fine. No sweat. Oh yeah, it is. So it may not be till December. I'm waiting for D-Man to get back. Carrie, if you want to go, you can go. I'm sort of waiting for D-Man to get back. Hi, Real Gaming. True. I would not expect them to be up where I'm at. At least not um in the winter. Ooh, congrats. Ooh. That sounds fun. Good luck with that. Oh. Well, still, good luck. Oh, come on. Well, in the very least, have fun. I have never heard of Plex. Awesome, awesome. I hope he hurries up. Ah, I can do that on my Roku. My problem is most of the time you have to pay. Oops, I messed up. Guys, I will be right back. I have to run downstairs. I'll be right back as quick as I can. Carrie, hold down the fort. Sorry. I had to step out. It was a matter of life and death. Well, not really, but I am having golden Oreos before lunch. I believe it. About going live, about doing the 10 to 12, the 10 to 12, maybe. You think I can't do a 12-hour marathon? It almost sounds like they're challenging me. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm not about to do that. I'm not doing a 24-hour live. That's not happening. Um, November? Are we thinking November? Um, I think I want to do that. So I know for a fact that first week is out because I have court that first week. Oh no, not that. Um, No, you can't, not for that. You can't kick somebody just because they're annoying. Not that Ross Lynch is annoying, but you can't kick him just because of that. Pretty much. I'm looking for a good date. What day is the 15th? The 15th is a Saturday. The 14th? We can go through what I have planned. We can go through what I have planned. That should take an hour. Um, 10 to 10 works, I guess. Let's do 9 to 9. Actually, yeah, let's do 9 to 9. Um, it's 10. It just so happens it's another one of those exhibit focuses. Um, yeah, we can schedule it later. For right now, I need to go because I need to eat. Oh, awesome. Ross Lynch, did you beat the vulture? And if you did, congratulations. Okay, guys, I need to go. We will talk about this later. Just remind me. The 14th. Bye, guys. I gotta go. I've got other stuff I've got to get done. I will talk to you guys later. Be good. Carrie, have a good nap. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.